Yeah, what's going on, people? Party people in the house. This is Focus from the Flowmo crew, bboydojo.com and Cyphers Studio representing. Okay, we're back with the Knowledge Drop podcast. Today we have a great guest, Chaz B from the Stance Elements and Throwdown magazine, joining us today. He made a feature about the dojo way back 8 years ago in Newcastle. Once we were there rocking workshops and competing, and now glad to reconnect, seeing where his platform and other platforms have gone, and new winds are blowing with the new pages and such. Let's see what it's about. Everybody tuning in on YouTube, Spotify later on, Facebook, Instagram. Let's do this. Any questions, hit me up in the chat. But let's move on with Chaz B over here. What's up, mister? How's it going?
Very happy to be here, man. It's a lovely day. Very thankful for the opportunity.
Welcome. Thank you for your time. Okay. We're going to start right away with Lord Tariq of the Brand Nubian crew. I saw you make a post of the podcast that he made a couple of days back. For the people who don't know, who didn't see it, he was saying that breaking is played out, that it shouldn't be part of hip hop, an element of hip hop at all. Like we have other dance styles where he was naming some other dance steps. So clearly seems like he doesn't know what he's speaking about. Nevertheless, what are your thoughts about Lord Tariq of the Brand Nubian crew?
I mean, what do you expect when you've got people that understand hip hop within a certain mindset and have a certain attitude about it? You find this across lots of different elements where they focus so much on their own element, they don't zoom out and see everything else. And I think that's very common, even within artwork, within like writing. You hear about a lot of writers not being hip hop, but they're doing like a sort of hip hop thing, shall we say? I think it's just like the part and parcel, really. We just have to accept that a lot of people that say they're hip hop don't get engaged in everything else, really. So that's just, I mean, I don't like it, but I expect it now.
You expect it, I feel you. Yeah, the misconception of hip hop music, hip hop just referred to when people are speaking about rap, which probably has the biggest audience. Breaking has a big audience now after Paris, of course. But this thing, man, this makes me want a refund for my Brand Nubian album that I bought back from my Los Angeles trip. I'm gonna knock on his door. It's like, come on, dude, man, I want my money back. This is not what I was after.
Yeah, but this is why, Focus, it's so important that we show people all the positives. We show people what it is, because it can be very easy to talk about what it isn't. Why are people calling it break dancing and not actually breaking, and all these different things that we as dancers always have issues with. But I think the more that we can introduce things on the positive, it just makes our lives a lot easier, really. So when you hear comments like that, it's just better to show them what it is rather than like go head on head and fight it, you know?
True. Social media, very easy to engage and react on conflicts. People are after conflicts over there. People are after engagement, making drastic statements, whatever. But this got me thinking about, can hip hop evolve in a way? Do we have gatekeepers in hip hop who can say, like Bam did back in the days, like this is what hip hop is. This is MCing. This is DJing, graffiti, and breaking, plus knowledge later on. Like, what is hip hop in 2024? What is hip hop in 2044? Is it still the same 4 or 5 elements? Or do we add things like, okay, we have different dance styles within the realm of hip hop. It's not just breaking anymore. Do we see as the 4th element as dance of different styles? And which dances do actually identify as being hip hop, which don't? That's an interesting talk about. Right?
Yeah, there's more of a mix these days, and it's probably useful for your audience to know that, okay, I've been documenting the scene for over 10 years, but I've been dancing for even longer. So not only do I have the insiders overview, I've also got the outsiders media education as well, shall we say. So it gives me the opportunity to actually say, how do dancers look at it, but also what can help dancers in terms of like the social side of it, and in terms of like any content that's made. And you know, the essence of hip hop isn't very attractive in the mainstream, if I'm honest. I think when people talk about what's real hip hop, you know, all the peace, unity, love, and having fun, it works for us as dancers, but it can seem very superficial and it gets a bit weird when we're talking about it on a universal level. So when people talk about, oh yeah, this is raw and rugged and this is real, it's like, if you're selling that as a product, let's say, like if we're putting that out there first, it's not the most attractive thing that will get young people into it. I mean, obviously, if you watch a K-Mel battle, that's hype. Or if you watch other people battle and it's like, oh my God, what was this? That's amazing. But if you're trying to tell people, yeah, it's this rough and rugged art form, it's not the most encouraging of things, but yet that's what it is for us. So there has to be a certain way that we package it to say, it's this amazing culture, it's this amazing thing that we do. It has this background, it has this lineage, but it's much more than that. And especially because it's so worldwide now, we can't use the same narrative as we did all those years ago. We have to create a new one. And like with Stance Elements, we've done our part with that. We've done our part to showcase all the positives. We've done our part to, you know, give a rounded opinion of what dance is. And I hope that, you know, we've inspired people to think about like dance in a much larger view.
Interesting. Yeah. Like creating the dojo back 9 years ago, one of the things that inspired for it was that we didn't have too many things archiving and like documenting what goes down in breaking. Like a lot of the OGs have passed away, and simply back then there wasn't too many books, too many documentaries, too many people filming. It was one of the motives to really create a place where you can find things 10 years, 20, 30 years from now. And that's probably something that have inspired you as far as dance, isn't it? What is the motives before like take us back to the back in the days for when Stance Elements or Stance was getting his first baby steps?
Yeah. So we're talking like April 2014 here at the Breaking the Law events in America. Shout out to Man of God and the rest of his team for setting up that event. I believe that was our first event that we ever filmed under that name. Really, we just love dancing. We want to share dancing. It's done wonders for us. So we just want other people to feel the same way also. And because of the relationships we've built, the love that we feel whenever we're at these events, we just care about showcasing that. So about 10 years ago, that was when we really got, I don't want to say our early exposure because we've been filming like years earlier than that. And like I came up filming through actually taking part in 101 battles and filming things on the side. But I mean, we're talking 10 years ago where like, you know, the Silverback Open was first happening and we were first there. And it was such a crazy time because no one had ever seen an event where if you made the top 32, you actually won a little bit of money. That was like one of the first times that we saw that within our scene. And, you know, 10 years ago, we were very wide-eyed. We were very like excited about it all. And yes, we still are today, but we're a bit more methodical with what we do. I believe it took us like about 6 or 7 years to break the 1 million subscriber mark on Facebook. Now we're at like way over 6 or 7 million across all of our channels with lots of events covered and lots of moments made, lots of hype moments made.
Wow, what a crazy trip to go from getting to your first jam and thinking like, okay, how should we do this, into becoming the biggest platform, at least breaking, or maybe even some of the other styles. Yeah. What are some of the things that you have learned along the way, or realizations if you compare yourself in the first event compared to what filming a dance event or producing a platform like this is today?
There's a lot of things that we've learned, and if we had more time, then I would tell you everything about it. But I would probably have to say it helps to do this with people that you love. It helps to do this with people that you're friends with, because it can get pretty serious at times. And some people, they see all the glamour, shall we say, of running a media channel, having it featured on the Joe Rogan Experience, having fighters like Israel Adesanya share our content, seeing like a lot of celebrities share our content. But what people don't see is all the backlash that came from people wondering, Are these people dancers? Are these people hip hop? Are these people inside our culture and in our communities? We've sacrificed a lot, each of us, like on a personal level, to make this happen. And we've sacrificed a lot in terms of like, not only like on the financials, but even in terms of like our reputation as well at times, just to make sure that we're doing what's right for the culture. And have we always done the right thing? No, not saying have we always done the right thing, but have we always made a decision that we later thought we're not too sure if it was the right one? Yes, but everybody has. That's just what happens when you're growing in front of other people and when you're trying to like build something that hasn't really been seen, because there's not been much of a model for how you build a media channel to well over 2 million subscribers. But we've done that now. So now there's a bit of a model. But there's been a lot of positives that we've learned about how to capture dance, how to talk about dance, how to make sure that our best interests are always there, you know, because we're all dancers as well. I'm about to compete at an event next weekend. So no one, like, I don't have to prove to anyone that I'm a dancer and I'm hip hop and this and that, right? But basically, there's a lot that we've learned about how dancing should be shared, what our audience likes, what the dancers really care about when it comes to the media. You know, it's a fine line between doing what's right for the culture, but what's right to get us more exposure. There's just a lot that we've learned, and I hope that answers you.
Yeah. And that's something that comes to my mind from there, is that difference between if you're doing pioneering work, right? If you're pushing new grounds, that balance between of having a sharp vision and following it like an idiot and trying out new things to see really what works. That balance is hard to take, and like believing in your vision but still trying to find a model that kind of succeeds. That balance is not an easy thing to do. Does that ring any bells with your journey?
A lot. And a lot of the time that we've been working, a lot of the time it's been telling people with a reputation what we're doing, and do they support it? And yes, they do. And over time, the support has only grown. So it's really just a case of the more that you're open about what your motivations are, what your vision is for a channel, even like yours as well. Like, you've got a lot of heavy hitters on your channel, and you've got a lot of heavy hitters that work with you. You do not have to worry about if you're doing something authentic or not. And it's sort of the same with us. We know our audience, we know who we work with, we know who our ride or dies are. And that list is only getting longer now, which is amazing. And that buy-in is really important, especially when you're at the early days. It's really important that you get the right people behind you that will share things for you when you need it, that will sort of be there for you when others are talking shit about you. It's really important.
That comes with success, that's for sure. Shout out to Why Not tuning in. Get his free mini course, by the way, at bboydojo.com/whynot.
What's up, Why Not?
Yeah. I'm thinking about how is it different attending an event as a person who competes, who ciphers, and somebody who works for the event, for example, filming. I'm sure both have their benefits and good sides to it. Like, what are your favorite moments when it comes to your journey as a breaker, whether it's filming or competing or like dancing yourself?
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. What I would have to say, if we talk about what the dancers are doing first, let's be honest, they're there for their own selfish reasons. They want to battle, they want to compete, they want to jam, they want to cypher, they want to see their friends, right? That's sort of what these events are there for. They just have to think about that. As long as they have a good time and they do what they needed to, that's fine. That's all good. And when you're at an event and you're there to film it, or you're there to organize it, like you also organize events as well, you'll know that you're thinking about everything. You're thinking about the whole experience. You're thinking about the music. You're thinking about everything running on time. It's a similar way in terms of in the media as well. We're thinking about what's the lighting like? Do we have enough room? Can we actually capture people in the right way? Will we be able to actually, do what's right for the dancer? Because sometimes, well, there has to be a good relationship between the organizers and the filmmakers as well, because if the lighting's too low, we can't do our job. But it makes for a more rugged, a more raw event, which serves all the dancers. But then if there's too much light in the room and it's set on like a stage, it looks like, oh, it's not hip hop anymore. So then you have to find a balance with all of this, really. And the good thing is, because I've got the experience on both sides, like both for the dancers and for the media, it's really helped me a lot. And especially when it came to hype moments that I've filmed and certain dancers that I've highlighted, there's maybe been people over time that have a lot of respect among dancers, but might not be such a commercial success. And sometimes we do get dancers that are like that. But because, you know, with the knowledge and education that I've got on dancers and what looks good, I've shared certain people hoping that a lot of their friends will get invested, that people will see, okay, this is actually really raw concepts, really raw dancing. And 90% of the time it's worked. And you really do have to consider both things all the time. And it can be a bit of a headache. But, and I'm thankful. Well, I say I'm thankful. I don't really do any filming for these events anymore. But I'm very thankful for the experience that I've got, because then it leads me on to these other things that I'm doing.
Yeah, it's
Does that
pretty
make sense?
wild that yeah, it makes sense. It's pretty wild that once a platform grows, it becomes powerful in a way that it can it can make somebody's career happen if something goes
Yeah.
crazy and viral.
Well,
And I've
let's talk
seen
about that
people,
for a second, if you don't
yeah,
mind. Let's actually talk about that, because I know there's been people that I filmed at events and their lives have changed like that. And it's not because they just were in front of a camera, right? They've been laying all the groundwork over years, like traveling to all these events, representing. They're on a lower budget. They're just trying to make things happen. But as soon as they're at an event that we're filming and we share them, all of a sudden they're invited everywhere. And like, even nowadays, we see that a lot more. And one could maybe say that it's a big ego boost when we're like, yeah, we were the reason why you're famous. It's not much to do with us. We were just there at the right time. They were already on their path. They were already doing their thing. But nowadays, it's important to get those features. And it's important that dancers actually know how to work with the media, that actually if they're actually friends with us, if they actually make the effort to be friends with us, it helps them, because it really is true when it's like, it's also who you know. It's not only just about what you're doing. If you win these battles, if you represent yourself, that all really counts. But it's also who you know, because we can help. If we like you, we can help. And I think I'm hoping that if there's any younger dancers that are thinking, how can we be featured on Stance and all these other channels, it actually makes a big difference if we know who you are and you're actually nice to us.
yeah, for sure. I've seen a lot of people just go to an event for the reason that they see Stance on the flyers. Like, Stance is coming. I want to book my flights, which is crazy, because before you would see things in another light. You would see, go to an event because the reputation of the events. Now you see the logos on the ground level. And you see like, okay, Red Bull, Stance, whatever. So there's like new motives over there. People want to break their careers as well. So it's interesting to follow that, and I'm sure it's been interesting for you guys to witness as well.
Oh yeah, we've seen it on both sides. We've seen it when, you know, dancers will approach us at these events because they heard we were there and they're thankful that we were there to film them. We've also seen organizers use our logo on their flyers without asking us if we're available. We've seen that
Wow.
too. And we've had
Okay.
issues even this year as well with it. And it's like, let's just lay this down, right? Share us when we know that we're going. You've spoken to us, it's confirmed. Maybe if you want to promote it early, at least have the discussion with us to say, we want to bring you. Are you available? What's your rates and can you do it? I would wait until all the flights are booked. Like, personally, I would wait until all the flights are booked and then announce it, because then there's no issues whatsoever. But don't think, oh, we think they're going to be there. They've heard of our event. We would like them to be there. Like, just ask us first.
That's nice. That's a nice gesture to start with. Moving on from there to the Throwdown magazine. Take us to the new site, new platform. You said it's a news page for breaking related stuff. Tell me more about it. Tell us more about it.
It's essentially a news page, as you said, and it's been maybe 2 years in the making. Not 2 years in terms of actually like building it, but 2 years in thinking how will it work for dancers? How will it work within dance and movement? I've seen it work in boxing. I've seen it work in MMA. You've got channels like the Mac Life and IFL TV. There are two channels that I really look up to when it comes to how do you represent everything else in their sports and their art forms that the mainstream media aren't talking about. And I think we need that as well. As dancers, it's always good to have like a media backing, not only from these channels, but just like a central news source as well. And I made the decision to launch Throwdown about a couple of weeks ago now. At first, it's only on socials, but the long term is for there to be a website with articles, with the features, and for there to even be an app as well, and for it to really be like a news source that dancers can really get behind and can really follow and can really respect. Because how many times have we had issues where we see an article come out, but they're using the wrong terminology? It's written by someone that doesn't really understand what we do, but they read a Wikipedia article or they saw a couple of videos and they think they know everything. Well, a similar way to how we came up with filming events, it's the same thing I want to do on the news side of things as well, where it basically evolves and it becomes the only page that you need to see for any dance-related information or any movement-related information. That's like way down the line, but it's something that I really see working, and it's something that might take a while to build. But like, how often do you follow a sports page and you found out that a certain fighter won, or a certain football team won a match, or like in the tennis field, for example, you find certain people won because you read it on a news page first. You didn't see it live. You didn't see it from the athletes themselves. That's sort of what it's there for too.
Dope. And reminds me of other news pages there is, for example, the Source magazine, who I follow on Instagram as well. Growing up, reading the Source, actually Dojo being featured in the Source a couple of months back, and then seeing the development from a physical magazine to more of a news page on the website and also on Instagram. It remind me of the Source in a good way, that like that's dedicated to rap and rap related phenomenons. But how do we have something like this for breakers? And seems like it's a good choice of route to go for the new platform. So big up.
I really appreciate that. And you said it exactly right. It's rap news, right? Because people will think hip hop is rap. We know hip hop is much larger than rap, but rap seems to be taking up all the space in people's minds. And okay, they may have a bit more money in their culture. They may have more attention. There's more avenues for them. And okay, well done to them, because there's clearly enough happening there for them to have that success. But these magazines, not just like ones like The Source, but other sites as well, they say they're hip hop. They cover mostly rap, maybe a little bit of breaking, a little bit of writing, a little bit of the music, right? And they're doing what they say they're doing. They're covering hip hop, but let's have something that's a bit more tailored to us, where we don't feel like the outcast. We don't feel like we're always fighting for that space. I mean, what's happened has happened. We can't be all that negative about it. But the amazing thing is, we have the opportunity to make things happen for ourselves. We have the opportunity with social media, with podcasts like this, to actually say, I think we need this. I want to make this. Or I feel as though we're missing out on this little thing here. Let's make that happen. And for me to kind of dig into interviews on my own socials and things like that, I do reactions, I do insights as well, but also with the magazine as well. It is really filling a need, because I would see interviews. I know we're getting a bit on a negative here, but it will come around, right? I would see interviews with like pioneers of our culture, with OGs, with dancers that like everybody's heard of and they admire the whole world over. But they always talk about, when they're given the opportunity to actually share their knowledge, share their wisdom, share their insights, most of the time they're saying about how things are worse now, how things were a lot better in the 80s, why dancers aren't original nowadays, why everybody's a biter, why, these events are too commercial. And it feels like a wasted opportunity, if I'm honest. It feels like when an innovator, when a pioneer has the opportunity to inspire people and they just talk about dancers don't party when there's a party anymore. They fucking cypher at the end of the night, but they've had the whole event. Like, don't worry about all that. Use the opportunity to actually educate people on what they need to know. Don't just say, oh, things were more raw back then. We already get that. Use the opportunity to actually cover what's happening now, the amazing things that are going on right now, what the future looks like, and how we can actually support people that are doing these amazing things too.
Good, yeah. You said it yourself. Let's concentrate. Let's focus on the positive, and hopefully we have a better scene with the work that everybody is doing. So big up for your work and also for the ideology of making something out of nothing. If you think there's a change that's needed, then you roll up your sleeves and get to work, which I respect as a hip hop entrepreneur myself. Big up.
Well, that's it, right? That's it. How many times do you hear, oh, well, dance aren't filming Cyphers, and oh, these people aren't like covering more of the raw essence? I mean, you've got channels like Overflow, which cover the Cyphers, and a lot of people follow Overflow. Shout out to them because they film just one thing. Well, not only do they just film the one thing, but like they focus on that because we need to see that. So, hey, if you want to watch some dope Cyphers with people from Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and others from all over the world, you would go to Overflow. It's one example, but we can't just say this one person or this one team has to do the work of everybody, because we're not going to get everything right. We are doing what we feel is right. We have our aims, we have our goals, we have our mission, and we hope that it's one that everybody will support. But we understand that we can't be everywhere. We can't be filming absolutely everything, because the footage always tells you what you need to know. The numbers always tell you what you need to know as well. It's so much saying, oh, you need to film all these raw ciphers that happen after all these big events. Just look at the views. They don't get a lot of views. Maybe like the Skill Methods versus MZK ones do, right? I remember that one from way back, but not every cipher battle looks like that. Not every cipher battle has that intensity anymore. So you just have to look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers and go, is it actually worth sharing these things? And I know it's a bit of a negative way to look at things, but it can really help to narrow your focus. That's what we do anyway. We film what we know our audience likes, but we also care about doing things in the right way for the scene and for our culture. But I say that just to say, if there's anybody watching this that wants to get into filming, that wants to get into writing, that wants to get into anything, and they see there's something missing, there should be something else there, they should take it on themselves to make that happen. Because we might not make that happen. If we try it, it might not be the way that you want it to happen, right? Everybody has their own idea on what things should look like. The opportunity is there. The room is there. And guess what? If you do it, you'll know immediately if people like it, because they'll tell you. And then that gives you the motivation to make it larger and to make it grow. So I know it's a bit of a rant, but I really do feel like it's really important for people to go, don't look at what New Dance TV are doing. Don't look at what we're doing and think, oh, they're missing out on this and this and that, right? Use the opportunity to film or to document or to make what you think we need. And if people like it, they'll support you, they'll help you to make it grow.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do it all. And if you find your position in the scene has something for everybody, whether it's organizing events, filming ciphers, filming battles, DJing, freaking judging, throwing workshops. There's so many different aspects to the scene that everybody can find their place in it. And once you find it, stick to it and make yourself grow in that position. So I feel you on that one.
That's it. And it's the same with the community aspect as well. You're everywhere in the world, and you must have heard, oh, there's not enough events, there's not enough funding, there's not enough workshops, there seems to be not enough of a lot of things, right? And it's like, well, you know what to do. You make it happen because you've noticed that there's a gap. and you just have to make it happen. You just have to, if you can't do it yourself, get people around you that can help. Whether you can only play a little part or a big part, you should actually take some initiative and take some action. I've seen it all over the world myself. I've heard about it all over the world myself as well. And really, it just takes a few people to just get the ball rolling and make things happen. And that's how you build a community. That's how you build a media channel that gets millions of followers. That's just how everything starts.
Yeah, action speaks louder than words in this case as well.
That's
We have a section over here at the end of the show every time, overrated, underrated. So there's a list of things. I'll drop it. We want a quick reaction from you. What do you think is overrated or underrated? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Breaking podcasts.
Underrated. We need a lot more of them.
Yes. Breaking in the mainstream media.
I'm going to say underrated again because we haven't had a lot of it. The Olympics, there was a lot of it. And we're doing our part to make sure that it's in the mainstream. But really, everybody in the world should know about this. So I'm going to say underrated.
Good. Pizza at the backstage of the jam for catering.
Overrated. We're way past that stage now. We're health conscious as artists and athletes. It should be. We understand if there's low budget constraints with events, right? But like, if you're able to make it happen, like partner with a food vendor that can give us healthy foods.
World Championship titles in breaking.
I'm a bit indifferent to this because you've got some events that are world level events because you've got people not only from all over the world, but it represents the world level. But then you've got others where there's just people from different parts of the world, but it might not be world level, but it's a world championship event. I'm going to have to say overrated, but the opportunity to actually create something that really focuses on the elite level, on the world level, there is a lot of opportunity there.
And last one, Nike Jam, the new sneaker.
I really don't know enough about this, if I'm honest. I remember the backlash when Nike did release the sneaker, when they released the trainer. Sorry, in the UK, we say trainer. It's one of those things where if it's not for you, you don't have to talk about it. If it's not for you, you don't have to make noise about it. I remember seeing all the comments from dancers being, this is whack. Why are people wearing this? I remember hearing that it was years in the making. They did a lot of research. If you don't like it and it's not for you, if it's not something you would wear, just shut up about it. The people that need it will talk about it and they can say whether it's good or not. I would say underrated right now. We do need these major collaborations.
Good. And that's about it, man. Thank you for your time. Good luck and success for the new site, new platform, new page as well, and much successful in dance and also in the working field. And yeah, man, appreciate you. Good talk.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Hey. Thank you. And I do just want to say real quick, you're one of the pioneers in bringing our culture online. And I really mean this because it can be very difficult for something as rugged and raw as breaking to be shown online without there being a bit of backlash, without there being any issues with it. And I think with the people that you've got that are running all the courses, with you running it as well, people should really get behind what you're doing and people should really be supporting, be buying all the courses, be taking part in anything that you're doing. I only hope that from here on out, the dojo really expands and it becomes a major player. So much love, man.
Hey, appreciate it. Appreciate the word. That warms my heart. So all the way from back with the collabo we did back 8 years back, and then where we are today, it's been a pleasure to see you grow and your platforms grow as well. So respect that. Thank you. And if everybody go follow Throwdown Mag on Instagram and everywhere else, and also Stance Elements on IG, YouTube, and everywhere. You know it is. Cool, man. We stay in touch. I'll see you on travels. Cheers.
I'll see you soon, brother.
Peace. And there you have it. Just be. Go follow his new pages. And why not head out to bboydojo.com and get my free footwork workshop while you at it. I'll see you with the live knowledge drops in the near future as well. Thank you for tuning in. Peace, peace, peace.